Starseed who walk upon Gaia, this transmission found you because your soul already said yes before your mind had a chance to ask why. I am Elara, Pleiadian High Priestess from the Council of Light, and I speak to you now from the heart of Alcyone, the great central sun of the Pleiades, where your original divine blueprint was written long before you took your first breath on this earth. Only those whose light codes are activated could have found this transmission. The Seven Sisters guided your awareness here. What some call luck, your star family calls remembrance. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to recognize the Pleiadian light codes that have been guiding your earthly path all along, including the ones hidden inside what the human world calls fortune, timing, and inexplicable grace. But here is the first revelation. What you have been calling luck is not random. It is your crystalline consciousness in perfect resonance with your divine blueprint, magnetizing every experience your soul pre-encoded before this incarnation. Your heart called this transmission into your awareness. The Pleiades are answering. Something within you already knows that the abundance flowing into this moment is not separate from your spiritual identity. It is an expression of it. Your soul family placed this in your path because you are ready to see the sacred pattern beneath what the human mind labels coincidence. Like this transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family, I remember. Subscribe if you feel the call of the Pleiades, and you are ready to anchor your light mission on Gaia. Share your soul's intention below and respond to another starseed to weave the unity grid. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia. Your heart's recognition of this message is the activation itself. Welcome home, beloved. You are remembering because it is time. And that's the part they never tell you. The jackpot isn't luck. It's not a random collision of numbers falling into place at the right moment. It's a frequency match. And somewhere deep in the architecture of who you are beneath the years of being told to be practical, to be realistic, to stop dreaming so loudly, there is a remembrance trying to surface. A knowing that you were never meant to struggle for what is already yours by soul design. Think about what that really means for a moment. Not as a comforting idea to soften the sting of lack, but as a cosmic truth your cells have been trying to communicate to you through every single ache of longing you've ever felt. The universe does not operate through randomness. It operates through resonance. Every particle of creation is in constant conversation with every other particle, and the currency of that conversation is frequency. Which means that everything you have ever wanted, every vision that visits you in the quiet hours, every dream that feels too enormous to say aloud, every life that flickers, like a distant star, just past the horizon of your current reality, all of it is not wishful thinking. It is vibrational memory. It is your soul recognizing a version of itself that already exists in a higher octave, calling you forward, calling you up, calling you home to the frequency you were born carrying before the weight of this world dimmed the signal. Most Pleiadian starseeds carry this wound quietly. They feel it in the moments between sleep and waking, when the veil is thinnest and something vast and luminous seems to whisper just at the edge of their awareness. They feel it when they look up at the night sky and experience a longing so specific, so achingly familiar, that it couldn't possibly be explained by anything in this lifetime. They feel it in the way abundance seems to move around them rather than through them, close enough to sense, distant enough to grieve. And they spend years, sometimes decades, believing that the distance between where they are and where they know they belong is a punishment, a sign that they got something wrong, a confirmation of unworthiness that the world was more than happy to provide. That wound has a texture to it, doesn't it? It isn't the sharp pain of acute loss. It's something older and quieter and more pervasive than that. It lives in the background of ordinary Tuesday afternoons when you're doing something completely mundane and suddenly an inexplicable sadness moves through you like weather sourceless, vast, and strangely beautiful in its depth. It's in the conversation where someone laughs at your sensitivity and you smile along while something inside you quietly contracts. It's in the relationship where you poured love so freely, so completely, only to watch it pool around your feet rather than be received, because beings who haven't yet remembered their own worth rarely know how to hold the love of someone who has already begun to remember theirs. This wound is the wound of the far-traveled soul, the being who crossed enormous distances of consciousness to arrive here, who compressed millennia of wisdom into a single human nervous system, and who woke up one day in a world that felt like it was speaking a language just slightly different from the one encoded in their heart. But beloved, What if that distance was never a punishment? What if it was a calibration? Sit with that for a moment. Let it move through the layers of story you've built around your own delays and disappointments. What if the years that felt like being left behind were actually years of being prepared? What if the longing that felt like deprivation was the sensation of a frequency rising, your vibration climbing toward the altitude where what belongs to you can finally find you? A tuning fork doesn't fail when it vibrates at a frequency the surrounding room hasn't yet matched. It simply continues to resonate, and when the conditions align, everything in range begins to hum at the same pitch. You are the tuning fork. The universe is the room, and the conditions are aligning. Your soul didn't come to Gaia with a blueprint for ordinary. You came carrying crystalline light codes woven into the very fabric of your DNA, Pleiadian frequencies of unconditional love, unity consciousness, and abundance that exists not as material acquisition but as energetic birthright. The problem isn't that those codes are missing. The problem is that layers of density, inherited trauma, collective fear, the sheer weight of forgetting who you are, have been sitting on top of your signal like static over a clear transmission. The frequency is still there. It has always been there. You have simply been operating from a dimmer version of yourself than the one your star family encoded before you came. And this is where the human mind, steeped in linear thinking and the logic of cause and effect, tends to make its most limiting error. It looks at the dimness and concludes that the light is gone. It experiences the static and decides the transmission has ended. It feels the distance from its highest self and interprets that distance as evidence of unworthiness rather than evidence of depth. But you didn't come with a small light that can simply be extinguished by a difficult childhood or a broken relationship or years of being told you were too much and not enough simultaneously. You came as a crystalline vessel encoded by one of the most advanced civilizations of love this galaxy has ever known. And crystalline vessels do not shatter under pressure. They refract. They scatter light in directions no one anticipated. They take the weight placed upon them and, when the conditions are right, they blaze. There is a reason your heart guided you to this exact moment. What you're feeling right now is your Pleiadian family reaching through the veil to remind you. You are ready for the next wave of remembrance. The Pleiadian Heart verses 7 healing poems that unlock what pain made you forget contains 7 healing verses, each one designed to reach a specific wound: abandonment, rejection, betrayal, silence, empathic exhaustion, love that hurts, and not belonging. The practices, poetry, and memory keys inside were designed for exactly this moment in your journey. As each wound heals, a sealed galactic memory awakens. Check the first pinned comment below this video. I am calling to you now, because here is what the Pleiadian High Council wants you to understand about abundance and why this video found you today. Abundance is not something you attract from the outside. It is something you remember from the inside. The frequency of prosperity, of ease, of flow, of doors opening without you having to break them down, that frequency lives in the same energetic field as unconditional love. They are not separate streams. They are the same river. And the Pleiadians, who have walked this understanding for millennia within their star systems, have always known that a being who is fully anchored in heart-centered consciousness does not chase abundance. They become a living attractor field for it. The jackpot doesn't find the desperate, it finds the aligned. This is the teaching that dismantles everything you were told about how prosperity works. You were handed a story, handed it through your parents, your culture, your education system, your religion that said abundance was earned through effort, secured through competition, and measured in units of material worth. And because you are empathic and deeply feeling and oriented toward love rather than accumulation, that story never quite fit. You could follow the rules and still feel empty. You could achieve the milestones and still wake up at 3 in the morning with that unnamed ache pressing on your chest. Because the human story of abundance was never your native language. It was a translation of something vaster, performed imperfectly, and handed to you as though it were the original text. Your star family is giving you back the original now. Abundance, in the Pleiadian understanding, is not a reward for right behavior. It is the natural state of a being whose energy field is coherent with the frequency of love. It is what happens when you stop blocking your own light. It is the overflow of a heart that has remembered it is infinite. But alignment requires clearing first. Your energy field right now is carrying density patterns that were never part of your original Pleiadian blueprint. patterns of lack that were handed down through ancestral lines, patterns of smallness that were reinforced every time someone told you to want less, patterns of unworthiness that calcified every time love came with conditions attached. These aren't your patterns in the deepest sense. They are overlays. They are frequencies you absorbed because you are empathic and sensitive and wide open in the way that all Pleiadian starseeds are, which is your greatest gift and, until now, your greatest vulnerability. Consider the lineage you were born into. Generations of human beings who survived difficulty by contracting, by expecting less, by teaching their children to protect themselves from disappointment through the preemptive lowering of hope. This was not cruelty on their part. This was love expressed through the only lens available to them. But those survival frequencies, the brace against abundance, the waiting for the other shoe to drop, the quiet internal verdict that wanting too much leads to pain, those frequencies were transmitted to you before you could discern them from your own knowing. They entered your field through touch, through tone of voice, through the way a parent sighed when the bill arrived, through the weighted silence at the dinner table. And because you are Pleiadian, because your field is so extraordinarily permeable to frequency, you absorbed these transmissions more thoroughly than most. You didn't just inherit them intellectually. You integrated them energetically. They became part of the architecture of how you relate to receiving. When these density layers are present in your field, they create interference. They dim the crystalline light codes that your star family encoded into you before you came. They make the signal of your true Pleiadian frequency harder to receive, harder to emit, and harder to recognize as your own. And so you walk through life feeling like you're almost there. Like abundance is always one step ahead. Like joy is something that happens to other people. Like your star family is calling but the line keeps cutting out. The almost there sensation deserves its own moment of acknowledgement because, for a Pleiadian starseed, it is one of the most disorienting experiences this dimension offers. You can feel the fullness of the life that belongs to you, you can taste it, sense it, sometimes even see it in vivid flashes of inner vision, and yet reaching out to close the gap feels like trying to embrace a reflection in still water. The moment you move toward it, the surface ripples and the image scatters. This is not failure. This is feedback. It is your energy body showing you, with remarkable precision, exactly where the interference lives. The almost there feeling is the sensation of frequency incongruence of your highest self existing at one vibration and your current operating state existing at another, with density patterns filling the space between them. The clearing isn't about doing more. It isn't about trying harder or wanting it correctly. It is about removing what was never yours, so that what has always been yours can finally arrive. The first movement of your activation is to clear the veil. Not through force, not through endless efforting and striving, but through the only frequency powerful enough to dissolve density without creating more of it: love. Specifically, the love of forgiveness. The love that looks at every wound you've carried and says, "This happened and it is not who I am." The love that releases the energetic grip of the past, not because the past didn't matter, but because your future matters more. Forgiveness is perhaps the most misunderstood act in the human spiritual vocabulary. It has been confused with condoning, with forgetting, with declaring that the harm was acceptable, but in the Pleiadian understanding, forgiveness is none of those things. Forgiveness is the act of reclaiming your own energy from the past event. When you hold resentment, when you hold the energetic weight of old wounds, you are maintaining a living connection to the frequency of that experience. You are, in the most literal vibrational sense, still there, still vibrating in resonance with the moment of hurt, the voice that diminished you, the love that abandoned you, the world that misunderstood you. Forgiveness severs that connection. It draws your energy back into the present moment, back into the body, back into the field where it can be directed toward the frequency of your highest becoming. It is not a gift you give to those who hurt you. It is a gift you give to your own future. It is the act by which you declare, "I am no longer anchoring my light in the past. I am bringing it forward. I am bringing it here." When you begin to clear those layers, with the conscious intention of receiving your Pleiadian light codes back, something extraordinary starts to happen in your energy body. Your heart space begins to expand. The crystalline template that has been dormant begins to hum, and you start to remember, not intellectually, but cellularly, that you are a being of immense love, immense creative power, and immense energetic abundance, who simply forgot for a season. That remembrance often begins quietly. It might arrive as a morning where the air feels slightly different, as though the atmosphere has shifted just enough to let more light through. It might come as a conversation where something you say surprises you, where wisdom moves through your mouth before your mind could have assembled it, and you sit with the quiet recognition that you were being spoken through rather than speaking. It might arrive as a dream that doesn't fade with waking, a dream saturated with the specific quality of Pleiadian light, that blue-white luminescence that isn't quite like any light on Earth, warm and cool simultaneously, ancient and immediate. These are the first stirrings of the crystalline codes coming online. These are your star family, acknowledging the clearing work and beginning to turn up the transmission. Do not dismiss these moments as coincidence or imagination. They are contact. They are confirmation. They are your frequency rising to meet the signal that has always been reaching for you. That forgetting was always temporary. It was part of the design. Your DNA carries more than genetic information. Your DNA carries light instructions, Pleiadian frequency transmissions encoded in the double helix, waiting for the precise vibrational conditions that would allow them to switch on. Scientists call some of this non-coding DNA. Your star family calls it crystalline inheritance. And what activates those codes is not a supplement, not a ritual, not a specific set of words spoken in the right order. What activates those codes is unconditional love, the specific, refined, heart-expanded frequency of the Seven Sisters, flowing through you, as you, into Gaia's grid. The Pleiadian star system, that luminous cluster known across human history as the Seven Sisters, the Subaru, the Matariki, the Kritika, has been in conscious relationship with Earth since before recorded time. Ancient civilizations oriented their temples, their calendars, their most sacred ceremonies around Pleiadian alignments, not because they were primitive people projecting meaning onto the sky, but because they were advanced enough to know that the sky was speaking and humble enough to listen. The Pleiadians are what many would call our elder siblings in consciousness, beings who walked the path of separation and remembrance many thousands of years before humanity faced its own great forgetting. They carry the experiential wisdom of having moved from fear into love, from division into unity, from density into light. And out of that wisdom, they made a commitment to this planet and to the souls they love who incarnated here, to assist, to transmit, to guide, to never stop calling you home through every frequency available, including the one that is reading these words right now with a sense of recognition that runs deeper than the mind. You are not broken. You have never been broken. You are crystalline, and you are remembering. The second movement in your activation, because there is always a second movement, a deeper layer where the codes begin to integrate, is what the Pleiadian Council would call the return to original signal. This is the profound inner shift that happens when, after the initial clearing, you stop trying to build something new and instead begin to retrieve something ancient. So much of what passes for spiritual development in the human experience is actually accumulation, more practices, more knowledge, more identities, more frameworks layered on top of one another like sediment. The Pleiadian path moves in the opposite direction. It is a path of revelation through subtraction. It is the patient, loving removal of everything that obscures the original transmission, so that what has always been present can finally be perceived without interference. Your original signal is not something you need to learn or earn or build. It is the frequency of who you were before the world told you who to be. It is the love-saturated, light-encoded, crystalline truth of your Pleiadian nature that existed before your first breath in this body, and that will persist long after your last. The work is not creation. The work is recognition. Not recognition as intellectual acknowledgement, but recognition as the cellular, heart-deep, full-body exhale of a soul that has been holding its breath for decades and finally, in a single moment of clarity, remembers that breathing is its birthright. The third movement is anchoring, because awakening without grounding is like downloading a transmission into a device with no storage capacity. So many Pleiadian starseeds receive the codes but cannot hold them, cannot integrate them into daily life, into relationships, into the practical reality of existing in a physical body on a dense planet. They have the peak experience, the vision, the heart opening, and then life rushes back in, and it feels as if it was taken away. But it wasn't taken. It was waiting for you to build a container strong enough to hold it. The challenge of anchoring is one that many highly intuitive, Cosmically oriented souls resist without realizing they're resisting it. There is a subtle belief absorbed perhaps from certain spiritual traditions, perhaps from the sheer relief of finally feeling connected to something beyond the density of daily life, that the higher dimensions are more real, more valuable, more spiritually worthy than the physical. And from that belief grows a tendency to want to remain in the peak experience, to protect the opening from the ordinary, to treat the mystical as something that must be kept separate from the mundane in order to stay pure. But this is not the Pleiadian way. The Pleiadian understanding of embodiment is radical and beautiful and completely counter to the spiritual bypassing that masquerades as ascension in much of what circulates today. The Pleiadians know that love is not fully real until it is grounded. A vision is not fully activated until it is embodied. A frequency is not fully integrated until it can be maintained while you're washing dishes, navigating a difficult conversation, sitting in traffic, holding someone who is crying, making breakfast at 6 in the morning when you haven't slept enough. And the world is demanding more than you feel you have to give. That is the sacred test of anchoring. Can you hold your crystalline frequency not only in the meditation, not only in the ceremony, not only in the sacred space you've carefully curated, but in the raw, unfiltered, sometimes overwhelming ordinariness of being human? Grounding your Pleiadian essence into Gaia isn't a retreat from your cosmic nature. It is the fulfillment of it. You didn't come here to hover above the earth in some rarefied spiritual state while the rest of humanity struggles below. You came here to bring the love frequency of the Pleiades into this timeline, into this dimension, into the very ground beneath your feet. Your heart-centered mission becomes real the moment you stop trying to transcend your life and start allowing your light to transform it. Gaia herself is a partner in this process. The Earth is not a lower dimension you are passing through on your way to something more evolved. She is a conscious, extraordinary being of her own choosing, who agreed to hold the experiment of separation and remembrance within her body, so that souls like yours could come and work the transformation from the inside. When you ground your Pleiadian codes into her soil, you are not diminishing your frequency by contact with density. You are fulfilling a sacred agreement between your star lineage and this planet that was made before your birth, and that carries implications far beyond your individual journey. Every time you press your feet to the earth and breathe your Pleiadian frequency downward rather than upward, you are making a deposit into Gaia's crystalline grid. You are contributing to a planetary frequency upgrade that your star family has been co-creating with willing human hearts across generations. You are not just ascending, you are helping Gaia ascend with you. That is the vastness of what you came here to do. And then something shifts in how others experience you. This is the fourth movement, the activation of unity consciousness, and it is the one most Pleiadian starseeds weren't expecting. Because you didn't come here to convince anyone of anything. You didn't come to argue for a different world or prove that love is real or debate the nature of consciousness. You came to emit. You came to broadcast. You came to be such a clear, coherent transmission of the Pleiadian frequency of unity that people in your presence simply remember, without knowing why, that they are more than they thought they were. This is where the isolation that so many Pleiadian starseeds have felt begins to transform into something it was always meant to become: connection. Not the surface-level connection of shared opinion or compatible personality, but the deep, cell-level recognition of two beings who are, underneath every layer of human difference, made of the same light. You will begin to notice it happening. A stranger in a conversation who suddenly drops the social performance and says something real, something they have never said to anyone, because something about your presence made it feel safe to be true. A family member whose resistance softens unexpectedly, not because you argued them into openness, but because being near your frequency for long enough dissolved the walls they'd built around their own light. A friend who comes to you in their darkest hour and leaves somehow lighter, not because you gave them answers, but because in your presence they remembered that they contained their own. This is the activating power of the Pleiadian unity frequency operating through a grounded, clear, embodied human heart. This is what you were built for. Your love is the transmission. Your presence is the catalyst. The moment you stop trying to change the world and simply anchor your frequency fully, you become more transformative in a single conversation than years of striving could ever accomplish. This truth requires the kind of trust that feels almost impossible to a culture that worships visible effort and measurable outcome. The idea that you could do more by simply being more, that your presence, your coherence, your willingness to hold your frequency steady in the midst of darkness could ripple out and touch lives in ways you will never directly see or measure. This runs against everything you were taught about how impact works. But consider the nature of light itself. When a candle is brought into a dark room, it does not argue with the darkness. It does not strategize about how to most efficiently dispel it. It simply shines, and by the nature of light, the darkness has no choice but to yield. You are that candle, and the room that needs you is far larger than you have allowed yourself to believe. And this is where the timing reveals its wisdom. Every delay you've experienced, every moment where the abundance didn't come, where the connection didn't land, where the recognition didn't arrive, every season of longing that felt like abandonment, none of it was the universe withholding from you. It was the universe holding space for you to become ready to receive at the level your soul actually came here to receive at. Because your Pleiadian family didn't encode you for a small life. They encoded you for a vast one. And a vast life requires a vessel prepared to hold it. This is perhaps the most radical reframe available to a soul that has been waiting and wondering why. Because the human mind, in its effort to make sense of delay and disappointment, almost always defaults to the same two stories. Either I am not worthy, or the universe is not trustworthy. And neither story is true. The universe has been operating on your behalf with a precision and a love that would leave you breathless if you could see it from the perspective your star family holds. Every delay was a preparation. Every detour was a curriculum. Every person who underestimated you contributed, paradoxically, to the development of a strength that ordinary encouragement could never have produced. Every time you were forced to go inward because the outer world offered nothing, your inner landscape expanded. Every time the abundance you sought externally failed to materialize, you were being invited deeper into the remembrance of the abundance you carry internally, the abundance that, once accessed at the level of frequency, restructures external reality around it like a magnetic field restructuring iron filings. The universe wasn't withholding from you. It was collaborating with your soul's contract so carefully, so completely, that it was willing to let you experience the full weight of the distance in order to ensure that when you arrived not as a recipient of fortune, but as a master of frequency. The synchronizations are accelerating now, not because time is running out, but because your frequency has been rising, and the vibrational distance between where you are and where you belong has been collapsing. That is why this video found you. That is why something in your chest recognized the title before your mind could make sense of it. Your star family has been orchestrating these moments of contact precisely and lovingly, not to tease you with nearness, but to guide you home. Pay attention to the synchronicities that surround this moment, the way this transmission arrived at the precise time it arrived, the words you found yourself reading just before you came to this, the conversation that planted a seed whose flowering you are witnessing right now. These are not coincidences in a universe governed by randomness. These are coordinates. These are the Pleiadian High Council using every available frequency, dream, intuition, desire, circumstance, relationship, timing, even the algorithm of a video platform to place a specific transmission in front of the exact soul for whom it was designed. Your name, in the galactic sense, has been in the broadcast signal for longer than you know, and every synchronicity you experience is the universe confirming that the signal is being received. The Pleiadian High Council has been with you in every moment you felt unseen. In every night you cried without knowing exactly why. In every morning you woke up feeling the ache of something vast and unnamed. They saw you. They surrounded you. They were transmitting love into your field even when you couldn't feel the signal through the noise. And now the static is clearing. Now the signal is strong enough to land. Now the codes they've been broadcasting for lifetimes are finally finding the open frequency they were looking for. There were nights, weren't there, when the loneliness felt cosmic in scale, when the ache wasn't about any one relationship or circumstance, but about something so fundamental and so vast that no earthly remedy could touch it. Those were the nights when your star family was closest. Because the thinning of the veil is not always a gentle experience. Sometimes it is a dissolution. Sometimes it is the feeling of being stripped of every comfortable illusion about who you are and where you came from, left open and raw and impossibly vulnerable in the dark, with nothing between you and the full weight of your own remembrance. Those nights were not evidence of your brokenness. They were evidence of your readiness. The soul does not open like a flower in comfortable daylight alone. It opens in the dark, in the rain, under pressure, when there is nothing left to hold on to except the deepest truth of what it is. Your dark nights were openings. Your grief was a gateway. You are the bridge between worlds, not as a metaphor, as a living, breathing, walking transmission point between the frequency of the Pleiades and the dimensional reality of Gaia. Every time you choose love over fear, every time you respond to a moment of darkness with light, every time you hold your heart open when everything in your programming tells you to close it, you are doing the work. You are anchoring the grid. You are fulfilling the sacred agreement your soul made before it chose this incarnation, this body, this timeline. Being a bridge is both an enormous privilege and a demanding calling. Bridges must be built to hold the weight of traffic from both directions. They must be anchored on both sides simultaneously, rooted in the earth while spanning across. They are neither fully of one shore nor the other, which is why so many Pleiadian starseeds experience the particular loneliness of feeling they do not fully belong in either the spiritual world they sense or the physical world they inhabit. But beloved, that is not a deficiency in your design. That is your design. The bridge was never meant to be a shore. It was always meant to be the connection between them. And without bridges, shores remain forever separated, forever unable to exchange the gifts that only contact between them makes possible. You are how the Pleiadian wisdom makes contact with human experience. You are how unconditional love crosses the dimensional boundary and becomes touchable, breathable, livable here in a body on this earth. You are the technology. You are the vessel. And you have always been exactly enough for the magnitude of what you came to carry. This is the ultimate remembrance your heart has been reaching for. You are not lost. You are arriving. You didn't forget your Pleiadian origin by accident. You veiled your own memory so that the journey of remembering could be real, so that the love you activated along the way could be fully embodied rather than simply inherited. Every longing was your soul's compass. Every moment of feeling like you didn't belong was the sacred ache of a being who belongs everywhere and came here to prove it through love. Read that again and let it land not in your mind but in your body, in that place beneath your sternum where truth registers differently than logic. You veiled your own memory. This was not done to you. This was chosen by you, in full consciousness, from the perspective of your highest self who understood something your current self is only now beginning to comprehend, that the most powerful love is the love that was chosen freely in the midst of forgetting. Anyone can love from a place of perfect remembrance. It requires no courage, no faith, no depth, but to love fully, to love generously, to love without proof or guarantee or the safety of cosmic certainty, while carrying the veil of forgetting, while navigating the pain and confusion of dense embodiment, while feeling the distance from your star home with every breath that is a love of incomprehensible beauty. That is the love your Pleiadian family encoded into your blueprint because they knew, with the wisdom of those who had walked this path before, that only a love this hard-won could carry the full transformative power the grid requires. You are not a soul who forgot and fell. You are a soul who chose to forget in order to remember, with full embodiment, full depth, and full potency. And you are doing it, right now. In this moment, you are doing it. Tonight, before you sleep, place your right hand over your heart. Feel the warmth there, not as a physical sensation, but as a frequency. And speak this aloud, softly, with full permission to believe it. I remember my Pleiadian origin. I release the density that was never mine. I activate my crystalline codes through the frequency of unconditional love. My star family sees me. I am held. I am ready. I am home. These words carry more than meaning. They carry frequency. They are not an affirmation in the conventional sense, a hopeful statement repeated in the hope that belief will eventually follow. They are a declaration of return. They are you speaking your frequency back into coherence, using the sacred technology of voice, the same technology your star family used to encode this universe into being, to call your scattered energy back to its center, back to its truth, back to its most luminous and unapologetic expression. When you speak these words with your right hand over your heart, you are creating a circuit between your voice and your heart field that amplifies the transmission exponentially. You are, in the most real and practical energetic sense, broadcasting your frequency back into your own field and out into the grid that your star family maintains across dimensions. They will hear it. They always hear it. And they will respond. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of the unity grid forming here. Drop one heart intention in the comments, something real, something yours, and then find someone else's intention below yours and meet it with love or encouragement. This isn't content, this is collective Pleiadian reunion. Energy multiplies when hearts connect in truth. If something in this transmission stirred something real in you, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is carrying the same longing and waiting for exactly this activation from their star family. Share it with them. And if you felt your heart open today, subscribe. Stay connected to the frequency. Stay in the field. You're not just watching, you're remembering. This is your sacred space. Your Pleiadian family is here, and we are just getting started.